It's time for another review. Hello everyone, thanks once again for tuning in to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at a very iconic video game character. This is Cloud Strife from the Final Fantasy VII video game. This figure was made by Virtual Toys. I have to say, I have become a fan of this company. Last year they released a figure called the Revenger, which was the Punisher from Punisher Warzone. It was the Ray Stevenson version of the character, and it looked phenomenal. As a matter of fact, that figure was figure of the year for me personally when it came to all the things I collected last year. And Virtual Toys is also the company that were responsible for releasing the Arthur Morgan figure, or should I say Red Death or Gunslinger, because it's a unlicensed third-party figure just like this one and just like the Revenger. But that Arthur Morgan figure, already with all the figures I've had this year, he is literally at my #1 right now. I don't know what the rest of the year is going to bring, but he is definitely at my #1. So when they released this or announced this, and as soon as I saw the name, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to take a look at what it has, and I do not expect to be disappointed with this because of just the level of care and detail that they put in the characters. If you own the Punisher figure, the Revenger figure, you'll know all the accessories that he came with. And definitely if you own the Arthur Morgan figure, oh my gosh, I'll leave a link to the unboxing that I did for that figure. It's actually a lengthy video because of all of the accessories that figure comes with. It is absolutely amazing. So like I said, I'm really eager to see what they've done with this one. So let's jump right in and take a look and see what we come with. This is pretty funny. Got a little cutout. God, that's pretty funny. Just the level of care that's gone into the boxing of this. It's really cool. Really cool figure. So let's see. First impressions of this. I think he looks really good. I mean, he already looks accurate to the most recent game, the remake, Final Fantasy remake game. But you can take a look at that, see for yourself. Level of detail is really good. He's definitely, just from the look at him, I can already see with all the number of figures that I had, I can definitely see that he's a tall figure. But I mean, whenever they make, you know, characters and stuff like that, you'll notice that they are a little bit bigger anyway, because just when it comes to the games, they kind of make these characters pretty big. Even as an example, Hot Toys, they made the Arkham Knight figure, the Batman from Arkham Knight, and when you stand that Arkham Knight figure next to the other figures that are straight from the movies, he's tall. He's extremely big. And so when it came to, you know, trying to pose him next to, let's say, my Henry Cavill Superman, he's towering over him, because that figure, that Batman, was based off of the game and not the actual likeness of, you know, one of the stars in the movies. So when you put him next to him there, he's pretty big. So as far as seeing how big this figure is, I'm okay with seeing that. It looks pretty good. But let's take a look at the hands that it comes with. I like the detail in the glove. That's actually pretty good. It's a pretty good look. So I mean, I like sometimes when it looks like just a paint job, because sometimes you look at these hands and they don't really pull it off. But this, I think with the paint job, they did a really good job as far as making it look like it's a leather glove without it being actual leather. Sometimes some companies just don't really put that level of detail in, so therefore it just looks brown. But when it comes to this, you can see just like the lines along the thumbs and along the fingers and everything. It's kind of make it look like it's you know, a stitching that's done right there. That's a really good detail. So that's the other hands. Let's take a look at the other two hands it comes with. So that's good paint right there to make it look like it's metal without being actual metal. So that's a really good job on that. I think the paint job is really good. At this point, I'm kind of just really expecting to see this level of quality when it comes to Virtual Toys. They do a really good job. Here's the flower. I believe this is the flower that was given to Cloud by Aerith. That's some good detail on that too. Looks pretty good. And let's see. Oh, we have some. For those of you that are familiar with the game, he comes with some Materia. Let me see if I can get one of these out so you can at least see the detail of it. Let's take a look. So here we go. You can see pretty nice shine to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is just a plastic that's, you know, that's cut to make it look clear. But they come in, you know, the different colors representing the different type of materia that you could use in the game. And I believe this piece here is for his back so that you can put the sword in, which I definitely want to take a look at to see how well the detail looks on that. So let's take a look at the sword. I'm going to slip these right here. Took it out the bag here so I don't have that, but let's take a look at the sword. Oh man, that looks good. That is some really good detail in that. Just a level of paint and the weathering, the spot where you can put the materia in, that looks really well done. Really well done. Absolutely superb. I mean, they're not disappointing right now. They're definitely not disappointing. So with this figure, I believe there was two different versions. They had a deluxe version, and the deluxe version is what I picked up. So one of the unique things that he comes with is this display base, which I love the detail in it already. When I saw the photos online, I was like, yeah, I gotta get this. So that's the level of detail in the display base. You see it has the famous logo for Final Fantasy VII. It looks really good. The weathering all the way down looks really well done. I'm totally looking forward to slapping this together so we can see what it looks like all together in one piece. And then he has the, I believe this was the Cactar, I think that's what the name of it was. Can't remember right now what the name of it was. But I mean, it's not really much to it or much you need to do when it comes to detail for this, but still it's some nice texture. There's some nice texture in it. That's pretty good. These are flexible. So yeah, it looks good. And if I remember correctly from the photos that I saw, this is another piece that is for this character. Yes, it looks like you slip it right in there, and it looks pretty good. That's the thing that I'm noticing about Virtual Toys. They know how to make things accurate. When they did the Punisher figure, I mean, just about every single gun that he used in that movie, they released it with the figure. And when it came to the Arthur Morgan figure, just about everything he used in the game, he came with the figure. So I'm just really impressed with what the amount of stuff they've done here. This is just another pipe that I believe it gets attached to the base. I can see kind of looks like there's a magnet right there, so it looks like it's gonna literally pop right into place once I put it on there. When it's all done, we'll put it all together and see how all these things fit on the display. These are just some boxes from the company, but I believe that was, I'm drawing a blank right now as far as the company that he was fighting against. But yeah, it looks some really good detail in this. I mean, my main three toys that I like to collect is basically Marvel, DC, and video game characters. Video game characters is actually how I got started into collecting, and so I'm always on the look for some really cool, accurate video game characters, especially from games that I have played over the years. I like seeing stuff like that. So let's see, we got this, and this is pretty much everything that's in this particular tray right here is stuff that's going to go on the display base. So you have everything there. So it's really not much to use when it comes to the figure as far as accessories are concerned. But then again, in the game, he really didn't have that much. I mean, the sword was his main thing, and having the material for the sword, those are the two main things. So it makes sense to, you know, not really expect to see that much. But as far as the display, that's some pretty shiny bags. It's supposed to be trash bags. Some pretty shiny bags there. So we have that, and we have one last thing to look at. I believe this was like one of the big pieces that goes on the display. That looks really good. That is a nice detail there. I mean, this obviously does not light up, but the paint that they use for this kind of gives the appearance that it has that glow from the lighting. It looks really good. So that's all there is for the accessories. So let's go ahead and just set them all up, and then we'll take a look at what he looks like all together. Alright, and here we have Cloud in one of his iconic poses, or at least I tried to get him in that pose. And I mean, with the display and everything, it looks just totally put together as far as everything came together really good. The magnets that are in the display, this didn't come with any kind of instructions or anything, but the magnets and how everything is shaped, it practically grabbed everything and put it right in place, right where it needs to be. So I'll show you, let me get this guy out the way so you can take a look at the display. Everything came together nicely. I mean, it literally was so easy to put everything together. It was really just a no-brainer as far as where everything went. The shape of everything really helps, and therefore the detail of it just looks really well done. Really well done. Like I said, I really like how this company just does their toys, their display, their accessories. It's like they think of every possible thing and they put it all together. I'm going to go back to Cloud so you can see. I put the materia in. I didn't mention it earlier when I was going through because I only went on one side, but it turns out there was another side to it. So the materia that I showed you was actually the larger ones. I'll show you that now. You can see I put them in a little bag so you can get a closer look of that. So these were the large ones. That was the ones I showed you earlier. And these are the small ones that fit inside his sword. So these are for, like, you know, if he wants to hold it in his hand, you can have the materia held in his hand. And then this is the one that actually goes inside the sword. Again, Virtual Toys didn't have to do something like this. They could have easily made the sword and put two materia in and that was done. But to give you the choice to display it how you want, that's just the kind of quality that this company puts together or puts into their toys. And it is just really well done. So again, you can see how he's holding the sword. It looks really good. You can put the things together. I will notice, because I was trying to put it in a pose, you know, just like another iconic pose that I see him in, where he holds the sword over his shoulder. I will say that the detail in the arms looks good. I like the way it looks. I like the way they did the texture for the skin. The only issue, and it's a minor issue, the only issue is when you bring the arm up, because it's all sculpted one piece, when you try and bend it, it's almost like it wants to go back, like it does not want to go that far. So I would say when you're trying to do this in that pose, I would suggest you don't do it for a long time in that one particular pose. There are plenty of other poses that he's known for that's good, but just when you try and put it in that, it will bend. It'll bend the you know, at least to a certain degree as far as what you would like to have for that pose, but you'll be kind of fighting with it a little bit because it will literally try to go back. So yeah, overall I am still very satisfied with this figure. It looks really good, but I have one more little bonus to show you. So let's take a look at what I have. Okay, one final thing I wanted to show you before we get into the photos. You can see the height difference is just ridiculous. But this is my 1/6 scale Tifa figure that I picked up a while back, and so I was kind of eager to get the two of them. Now looking at them, I mean, you can clearly see it. The height just really doesn't work. In comparison to how they looked in the game, he was just like slightly taller than her, but this is just ridiculous. But I brought it out just so you could get the scale of, you know, really how tall he is in comparison to the girl I have here. So I got Tifa because she's really good as far as the, you know, the detail and everything. But I mean, clearly you can see right here as far as the size comparison is concerned. But overall, like I said, it's a great figure. I still plan to keep her because she's still a good figure in itself. So it just looks, I just wanted to kind of see what it looks like with the comparison and just pairing up the two side by side. So yeah, besides all of that, we're gonna go jump right into some photos, get this guy in some good poses, see if we can get some really dynamic stuff out of him and see how everything turns out. But I gotta say, overall, I am very satisfied with Virtual Toys. I think once again they did a superb job when it comes to their figures, and I am very satisfied. So thanks once again for checking out the channel. Let's get into some photos and let's see what we come up with.